Hello, excuse me. Hello and welcome. In this video, take the results of the little tutorial video on how to make a procedural texture for the camouflage and show you how to set it up to make it useful for Blender's, for Second Life. And also we can do enhance it a little bit so that we can do use it to store in an asset library. As you can see, I'm using Blender 3.00. Right, so this is about what you should be ended up with for your shading nodes for the Cameo file. Let's go in and go into either one. Yeah, rendered's fine. So let's get it ready so that we can save this object and the texture both to Second Life. So in order to do that, we need to do a Shift A, add texture, image texture, select new, pick a name, don't need no stinking alpha. Okay, so now select this guy, over to this tab on the right here, and be sure to select render engine cycles. Go down to the number of samples and pick a really small value. We don't need much for 10 works fine. Then you can go through and use, for this particular one, either omit or combined. And if you pick combined, be sure and turn these two guys off, the direct and indirect options off. And the reason for that is we're going to remove any influence of the lighting of the Blender scene, because when we go to Second Life provides its own lighting, so we don't have any need for these. So again, make sure this is selected, highlighted, then click Bake, and down there you can see it. Maybe you missed it. Watch down there. I'm going to click Bake again. It goes really fast with this sample count down to a low value. Right? Now you can go over here and save the image, and that will save this image, and we could export this thing to Second Life, so we can go through and do a file, export, collada. Make sure you go through and go to the operator presets. I created my own, but pick this one and do your export collada. And as you can see at the bottom, it exported one object. And then we should already save the image, and then you can go over to Second Life and import that thing into Second Life. All stuff we've all done multiple times. Now let's spiff this guy up a little bit so that we can make it a little more useful. Be sure to set the name of the material here, some name that you like. Let's save it in case we mess something up. Now I'm going to hit a control space key, and now I'm going to select this guy. Now if you haven't installed it, install it, the Node Wrangler. Go to File, Preferences, Add-ons, type Node here. Comes loaded with Blender Node Wrangler. Install that guy. Make sure you install that. So now I'm going to click on this guy, type Control T, and it adds a couple more nodes that we're going to want to have in here. Take the vector and stick it into there, stick it into there. You can see that it's the same as it did before. I'm going to suggest that you use the UV map instead of the generated map. would be nice if we could change the scale. Well, we could manipulate those two values here. Z doesn't seem to do anything. Or let's do a controller. I'm going to do an input, value input. Stick this guy here and put it there. Now we can change this and get it to work just fine. All right, getting there. Now, another enhancement. Back to this pretty view here. Go a box select on these items right there. Type Control G. That will create a group for us. So if we do a tab, you can see there's the group right there in the middle, and output and input that we set up. So there's our input, there's our output. Now type in and go over here to the right and select the inputs. See, there's our input and here's our scale. And we need to change the scale from a vector to a float. Default seems to not work. No matter what I put there, it doesn't seem to take it. Minimum 0. Hit enter. Now get back out of here. Type in to get rid of that panel. Hit the tab key, and now we've got our group defined. So let's move this stuff a little closer. Okay. So we can still, as we see, it still messes with that, but we don't need that, guys. Now we can leave it here. So now we can plug our scale value directly into the node group. Now we can go through and pick this guy, this name here, and do a mark as asset. And then when you save it, you can save it in an asset library so that we can reuse this asset at another time. So I just saved that object. I'm going to do a delete this thing, create another a cylinder, over to our new asset browser. There's the asset we just saved. Drop it on there. Now, let's go to layout, and as you can see, there's our cylinder with our camouflage shading on it. And if we go back to this guy, we can change the scale. Good old time. All right, so that's what I got for you. Let me know if you, well, I'm thinking about creating another example where a much more complex procedural texture and how to deal with it. There's a couple of other extra little issues that we can do. So if you want me to do that, send me a note in the comments or whatever. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.